So this is gonna be a weird toy review, and that is that this comparison is Hasbro versus Hasbro, and that is the Dino Megazords. Whoa. Hello everyone and welcome to Sabastion's ToyCon. Today we will be reviewing the original Hasbro Power Rangers Dino Megazord and the Zap Ascension Project version. Both of these Zords are very different from each other, so I'm going to show the differences within the boxes and the fact of each size and everything, and then we'll combine it and everything and you'll see the various differences. So I'll start with the first Megazord unboxing and then the Zap collection boxing. So here we go. Okay, right off the bat, I'm just going to point out the age, which is that this is for 4 and up, while the Zap collection, it's up on the top right, and it's 15 and up due to all the small pieces. So if you're looking for something for your kids, I would recommend this one. However, I don't know if they do this or not because they actually started using plastic-free packaging. And with this one, everything's in plastic and you can see it in everything. And now for the Zord Ascension pack unboxing. Also, this is when the Power Rangers Lightning collection started. Not with this Zord, it was through this is like the first Zord it came up with, but it's not the first Lightning collection. That was figures first. So this one, you want to take off the sleeve. The nice looking sleeve. And then, kind of like a board game, just take the top off. And they really went all out with the design with this. There's a picture of Goldar and the Megazord itself. And of course, they have symbols for everything in here. They made it like you never get to throw this away. But all of them, if I just review the special boxing, are wrapped in tissue paper. Yeah, everything is wrapped in tissue paper. That's freaking great, Hasbro. Thanks, man. Alright, so before I begin with the official review, because we're going to do it very differently, is the fact that they have these little tiny figures for every single Ranger in the Zord Ascension project. Now, I don't know if it's going to be all of them, but this one is pretty cool. The fact that every single Ranger, it'll focus, is in here, and like the detail is there. It's just very, very subtle and tiny for each and every individual one. But it is there. Everyone has their iconic pose going on for them. As you can see, it's very tiny, very highly detailed for each individual one. And they also had to make sure it was show accurate, not Sentai accurate. It's actually really cool. So first we're going to compare red, then black, blue, yellow, and pink. So let's go from there. Okay, so as you can see, there are very much a lot of differences between the two. The fact that with both of them, they don't have as much color in it and as much mechanical detail. The other big thing is like the eyes don't have it, and of course like parts of the Megazord head are like really dimmed down. The back is very much dimmed down. There's no silver like on this one or a red stripe. There's also the fact that the biggest difference is if I pull this little panel up, you can see little Red Ranger kind of sitting there in his cockpit But there's also the fact that, like, both their cannons look the same when I open their mouth. Except one is a little bit more detailed and not as bulky. But there's also the fact that like this one has hidden his pegs in the legs. While the original is kind of sticking out like the Zord builder set, rather than in the legs, even though they're there. And of course the arms are very different, being like 2 little fingers rather than these like giant 3 fingers that can move a little bit more freely with motion. And of course we have the legs. Don't want to do that too much. And then this one has a lot more bend to it than you would expect. But this can also move like that, but it's not moving back and forth. This goes up and down. Same thing with this one, but it just clicks. And it can't really move because the tail's in the way. There's no tail in the way for that one. But all in all, this set is huge. So on to the next Ranger. Again, another differences in comparison. Mainly paint and aesthetics. Again, this has a lot more paint on the head than anything, unlike this one where it's just black and green, and there is more detail to the sides of Zord. And the biggest thing is it actually has covers on the back rather than the original, which shows off everything. And then of course this one also has the Ranger sitting inside. The worst part is getting it to open for me. But as you can see, there's a Black Ranger kind of sitting there. Kind of have to use my thumb and really force it out. But this one does not have head motion, while this one does have head motion when it comes to the Zord, which is really nice. But yeah, there's like no other motion in the legs, so that's a bummer. So this one gets it for head motion, but this one gets it for more detail. Alright, I know what you're thinking. You could already be like, I already know who the winner for this is. Why am I looking at this? Because we're discussing the differences. We're not doing anything else. Yes, this has way more detail, but besides the treads and the legs, this is pretty much the same except for like a couple of paints on the head. The biggest difference though is the tail cannon, which has a lot more range on this one. So all in all, this one's about the same. The only difference is there's no treads on here, and there's treads on here. Like, I don't get why they didn't add like little wheels to it, but of course we have Red Ranger, just the horn, a little bit easier to get a hold of than anything else. And of course the head moves with this one with more range of motion. Oh, and I can feel you come down. That can come down, which is nice because this one can. It's designed in there. So yeah, more detail on the Zap collection, not on the Hasbro one. Again, same thing. Detail, not so much detail. And this one is just laughable. But the teeth are about the same, and so are the details on both of them. This one actually colored in its black parts, actually has body motion along with head motion. Can open and close the mouth. This one cannot because it's designed on. This one actually has joints in the arms and the body. Even in the back legs it has joints on both parts. And of course, we have the Yellow Ranger fit inside here as well, because everyone needs to pilot their Zord. But all in all, yeah, I think this one was a little bit more disappointing than Blue was. So, alright, second to last comparison before we move on combining it. And that is the Pink Ranger. As you can see, they're about the same. The only difference is this is painted white and not silver, and it's more of a sticker, if you can see that. It's more of a sticker than anything. But pink is about the same. But the biggest difference between each pink is the fact that this head has actual more loose free play than anything, which is kind of nice. This actually goes back it up. This is completely silver. And of course and then the back of it is actually white and pink, while this one is just plain and boring. And then of course we have the Pink Ranger kind of sitting in the cockpit. Right there, and it's actually pink, so contrasting with the white, which is nice. And as you can see, there is little shield divots inside. So all in all, these are practically both the same. This one is just a little better when it's flying than this one. I know I didn't take the backs off. Actually, now let's move on to combining them into tank mode and the differences between that. Alright, this one's pretty simple. All you have to do is flatten out yellow and bring in the tails up on blue. So, blue and whoops. Blue. Yellow, it's pretty much bring the fangs up and then flatten it out with the feet going back here. This is where it's very different because you can actually see the feet here, which is weird. I don't like that at all, but with this one, if I bring the tail forward, they actually hide the feet like it was originally intended for. Like originally you wanted to hide the feet. Like that's what you originally wanted to do. You originally wanted to hide the feet. So yeah. Also they have the red parts on the top for each of the tails rather than the bottom. So let's move on to grabbing red and combining it with red. I'm going to start off with this red first because it's easier. Just bam, bam. Dan stands your man. This red, however, you're going to have to bring the arms forward, and then you're going to have to grab the red part and make sure that you are nice and away from the legs. You're going to pull it out like so. Put your red back. Pull it out. Like I said, it's very hard. But once you do it, it's very satisfying. Make sure that's even. You can fold the tail back. Oops, don't turn that off yet. And kind of just bring that forward. And make sure your mouths are open. And there you go. Red is done. Now let's bring in blue and yellow. So blue is going to go first. As you can see, there's a peg on the bottom of here and a slider right there that just goes in the middle like that. And also spar the legs apart like this. Not like that. But like it's just like a little click. And technically you want it to make it go like that. Grab blue, same thing, same spot, as you can see. This one's pretty easy. Just has a round peg right there, so you'll just go pop, pop, pop. Pop, pop. And now for black. So this one is take off the helmet like so. Just loses its little articulative thing. Head. This one's very different because there's a connector here, here, and here, which you'll disconnect. Place that off to the side. And with this one, you'll also take off the plating, which is here and here. And then these you're not going to be using for anything else. Then of course transforming it into the arms, or not apparently, but bring these up a little bit. Pull these in until they click. Then split them apart like so. Forward, forward. Now on the back of the Zord, there's no connector to the back. It's just the locking pegs right here. And on the side, same thing. And of course, this one does have locking pegs on the back, like the original. So, lock, lock, and lock. Then you're going to take the little holder and place it in here. Come on, come on. So you don't bring the chest down and then kind of the mouth open to have its cannon. Same thing with our Zap collection. This one's a little bit easier, and you're only doing it to this part. You're not doing this to the whole thing, just this part. Because it's a smaller connection right there. Now for the final one, and that's the Pink Ranger. This one just came out of frame. Okay, so take off the cannons on both. They're attached the same way, just by little pinching pegs or pinchers. Same thing. And you're going to attach the bottom part, the cannon, just like this, on the Mastodon. Oh, I should have put the names, had the names on here. Oh well, same thing. Big Mastodon. Next, you'll take your pterodactyl, fold in the arms like this. Or I think this one has to go the opposite way. Yep. Then attach in these parts right here. To these little latches on the back. Just like that. Same thing with this one. This one doesn't really matter. Then of course, same thing. Little latches on the back. But this time, the latches are outward, so it's going to attach to the feet itself. So it's best to go in kind of weird because it's got to go in between the feet. Oh, this came off. Oh. Oops. There are little attachments on the side of the feet right here. I'll just bring it up closer. So you can see little divots inside the feet. I forgot they go inside the divots. Like so. Ta-da! You can already tell who has the better looking Zord mechanic. I know in the Bandai edition, they actually have a face cover up inside the mouse, so you don't get to see the Zord, which is really nice. But I feel like Hasbro did a really good job when it comes to its Zap collection. Not so much when it came to like the smaller sort of first one that they came out with. And it's basically just the color scheme of what they did. We're gonna turn this into Megazord mode and do a complete review on that and all the differences in the Zap collection, because this one is almost done. So what you're gonna do is we're going to attach pterodactyl and the cannons for both. So just do that. Leave them off to the side. For the pterodactyl, I will do that later. And you're also going to take off the mastodons head slash shield. Oops, I don't know why I did that, because I need it like that. Same thing with the normal Megazord, or the Zap Megazord. That one's a lot easier to get off. And of course, same thing. thing, and then you can have this out if you want, but it's a lot easier to do. So this one, it is pretty much, we're gonna, now if you remember this show, it's pretty much bringing the feet down, bringing this completely up, standable, making sure the tail is attached. Now the biggest thing for the tail here is there's a notch right here, and a notch right there, which it will eventually attach to. Make a small click, bring the arms forward, plates up, turn these in, like so they make the fists. Then of course, I'll get to that Megazord part soon. It's got a little dinosaur head. Alright, Hasbro one. This time we'll bring the fists forward and around. Do the exact same thing. So forward. Bring the legs back. This one's a little bit slower to do. And of course you're going to bring the tail forward and up, while also folding it. Arms down, over, down, and over. Alright, now we're going to put the head away, so you're going to grab the chest, open it, make sure the head is completely straight, forward, close, and split. Head apart until it clicks to about there. Grab your pterodactyl, move the wings over and place the head back down there. Put the wings back. And using these two joints on the Hasbro edition, attach them to the Black Ranger right here. Same thing with our big Hasbro one here. Attach body, head, close, then the face like that. Bring these back over, head goes in, back over, and then there'll be small little attachments here, which are a lot visible to see here. Just kind of next, this is going to go on the hand. But if you want the bendy parts of the arm, just like in the Hasbro edition, what you're going to do is you're going to turn, grab a hold of it, and then turn this one, so that way it's about the same. Then just kind of push this in to the hand. Same thing except forward, shit into the hand. Then the cannons will go into the back using the little round pegs on the back. then the exact same thing on the Hasbro edition. Oops. So just back here. I got it. And now the last comparison that we have is the Power Zords. This one is die-cast with a lot more details squaring off and everything. And then this one is just a normal plastic one with one side having these symbols while the other side does not. So it'll have to go like this. And of course, like that. Oh man, this is huge. And this is a very long review. I'm terribly sorry. But there's so many differences between the Zap collection versus the normal Hasbro collection. Like color, aesthetics, how much detail went into this one than this one. Again, this is great for like little kids and everything. But now I'm just going to swap over here and show you all the differences between this one. Because, again, it's pretty much like this. Alright, so with the Hasbro Zap one, you can actually pose this so much. You can actually take off the size of this to make it more posable. Now, remember when I took off the tail? Well, there's a reason for that. You put the tail right there, and then there is a little locking peg here. And a locking peg in the middle of the Zord right there. Also, if I can force the cannons. Oops. That's not what I wanted to do. Wanted to do that. And then I can place this back here. So it dips and bam. Again, this is very much more posable than our friend. We can actually rotate the body. We can pretty much do a lot of things with the arms. Like we can do a lot. And we have interchangeable hands. Which are on ball bearings. Yeah. Very posable sword. And it's huge. Like, if you look at the size comparison, and this is like bent down too, like, that's a huge difference. That's a huge difference. And there's another cool thing that's on this one that's not on this one, and that is, besides all the posable aspects of it, but if I remove the head, the face, right here. Sorry, I'm trying to find the latch to it. Come on. I got it. But inside you can see all the Rangers. As it was meant to be. And there you go. There's my review, even though it's like a short and long review of the differences between the original Hasbro edition that was made for little kids and the adult edition, which is the Zord Ascension project. Again, this is very much detailed. Any collector would love to have this in their arsenal. It's very posable. The fact that there's so many translucent parts on here, it's pretty much like you getting a die cast, like the die cast of the Soul of Chocokin model of the Power Ranger Megazord. This is a great addition for anyone to have. The only die cast would be the sword, which is also really phenomenal, really great. I love the detail on the sword itself. Like, all in all, this is a really good set. And the fact that you get like a nice little background on your box. Like, yeah, they don't, like, it's very hard for people to like throw away box. I don't throw away boxes. They're very good for organizing, but again, I would highly recommend this set. It's very detailed to the T. Even if I like there's even like little green, there's like an even little green part for the Zord, and I hate putting this back on because the biggest thing I hate is the fact that this protrudes too much. You guys didn't bend before. Don't know why it's bending now. Also, I don't know why I picked this Zord pose, but thank you guys so much for watching the review for Power Rangers. Again, I think when it comes to the Zord itself, it's gonna go to this Megazord right here because it is more posable than this one. Like, you can't really move the head on this one. Though it looks like you can just move the arms just like this, going around, having two bendy joints right there. This one has all the joints. It has like so many bendable joints. It's ridiculous. So many points of articulation. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye. Beauty.